Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to our class number 33, where we are continuing to learn about Fi'l Amr. So just quickly do a recap. So how to make Fi'l Amr. So if you see tabaqa, yatbukhu, utbukh. So we know in Af'alul Arba, so to make it majzoom, we have to bring Hamzatul Wasl if the fa'al is beginning with a sukoon. So in these cases, so you have Hamzatul Wasl, and the sign of Hamzatul Wasl depends on the sign on Ain Kalima. If it is Damma, it will always have Damma, and if it is have Fatha or Kasra, it will always have Kasra. Qata'a yaqta'u iqta', Fataha yaftahu iftah, and Daraba yadribu idrib, Jama'a yajma'u ijma', Abada ya'budu u'bud. So this is in Af'alul Arba, and if it is Af'alul Khamsa, the dropping of noon will be the majzoom form. So how do you describe this? Fi'lu amrin mabniyun ala sukoon. So in these Af'alul Arba, 5 in your pocket. So going forward, so we know this majzoom is in Fi'l Amr, and also it is in Fi'l Mudari'. So we know Fi'l Mudari', it can be marfu, mansoob and majzoom. So what happened when you have a majzoom Fi'l, whether it is Amr or Mudari', and if it is followed by al, so what happens? Because we have a sukoon, and especially in Af'alul Arba, so the 5 in your pocket. So what happens there? For example, if you have uktub, and if it is followed by ad-darsa, followed by definite noun, ad-darsa, uktub, that's how do you pronounce it? So we know alif of al, the definite article is Hamzatul Wasl. So whenever there is a word in front of it, that sound is not produced. Then we have lam with sukoon. So then we have here iltiqa'i sakinaini, the clashing of the sukoons. So in this scenario, what we got to do to pronounce it, to be able to pronounce it, the sukoon on the ba or the sukoon on the lam kalima of the fa'al is turned into a kasra. So how do you say? Uktubid darsa. Uktubid darsa. We know that fa'al mudari' is mu'rab. So any fa'al, whether it's mudari' or amr, it cannot be. Fa'al can be marfu, mansoob or majzoom, but it can never be majroor. So we know now that whenever there is kasra, it is for the phonetics, but it's not built in the fa'al. So let's do some more examples so it be clear. So we say uktubid darsa. So why do we see kasra here? Because we cannot pronounce the sound. So we know whenever we see a Hamzatul Wasl, so we have to identify that this is a Fi'l Amr, it's not Alamat Mudari'. So and it is ending with the sukoon, and to make it pronounced, so we have uktubid darsa. So we'll see in the Quran sometimes in some prints, so you won't have sukoon at all, so it does be kasra. So unless we know these things, we won't be able to identify. So iqra'il Qur'ana, so it will be iqra', but to be able to pronounce it, we have to give a kasra. Iqra'il Qur'ana. Ishrabil qahwata, so drink coffee. Il'abil ana. Il'ab is play, so you say play now, so il'abil ana. So this ba with kasra, this alif with kasra, again this ba. So the kasra is not built in the fa'il. This is only for the phonetics reason, but it is not a part of the fa'al. The original fa'al is uktub, iqra', ishrab and il'ab. So when these Fi'l Amr, what does it begins with? It begins with Hamzatul Wasl. So for example, if we say uktub, so we know Hamzatul Wasl has a special characteristic that whenever a letter comes in front of it, what happens is the sound of that Hamzatul Wasl, where it is uktub, the sound disappears. So how do we pronounce it? We just say waktub. So but we know when we are pronouncing waktub ending with the sukoon, that means it's Amr. And it's written, Hamzatul Wasl is written, but it is not pronounced. For example, if you say, Uktub, Ya Hamid Uktub. See, O Hamid, write. Because Hamzatul Wasl sound is not produced, so there is assimilation of sounds. The two sounds between the Hamzatul Wasl is mixed, they join. Ya Hamid Uktub. Ijlis, Udkhul, Wajlis. So this assimilation of two sounds between Hamzatul Wasl. Ifham, Qala li abi. Ifham, but how do you say? Qala li abifham. For example, Ya Hamidudhhab. See? Ya Hamidudhhab. Ya Ikhwanudhhabu. So we know when you say Ya Ikhwanudhhabu, Ya Ikhwanu and Idhabu, there are three words, but when you pronounce it sounds like one word. Ya Ikhwanudhhabu. So you should be able to identify. Ya Aminatudhhabi. So Amina, go. Ya Akhawatudhhabna. All your sisters, you go. So that's your Hamzatul Wasl. So let's do some more example. So I would say, Ya ayyuhattullabu dukhulul fasla. See, Ya ayyuhattullabu. So there is assimilation of sound whenever there is Hamzatul Wasl and there are two words between Hamzatul Wasl. So Ya ayyuha is one separate letter, separate word, and At-Tullabu is separate, Udkhulu is separate, Al-Fasla. But when we pronounce, we should be able to identify Ya ayyuhattullabu dukhulul fasla. So wherever there is Hamzatul Wasl and the letters between those are assimilated, the sounds are assimilated, they're joined. Ya ayyuhattullabu dukhulul fasla wajlisu waqtabud darsa. See, kharaja yakhruju ukhruj. So you're telling muannas ukhruji ya bint walla'abi. See, walla'abi, play ma ukhtuki, with your sisters. Kulu washrabu, eat and drink. To see, waw represents antum, so we should know all the forms. Kul, kula, kulu, kuli, kula and kulna. So ishrabna, shariba yashrabu, ishrab. Ishrabnal qahwata ya sayyidati, oh my madams. Ta'ali ya aminatu waftahin nawafida. Ta'ali is a different form of fa'al, so we're going to do later, but it means come. So we'll do it in our next class or following class, inshallah, how this fa'al is constructed. But just to understand, it's ending with the sukoon, jazm, that means it's kind of a amr, there's nothing in front of it. Ta'ali, come here, O aminata. Waftahin nawafida, open the windows. Ghasala yaghsilu, ighsilu, wash. Wujuhakum wa aydiyakum, wash your faces and your hands. Abada ya'budu, u'budna Allah. Wasjudna lahu. Okay, so all of you, all the females, worship Allah and do sujood to Him. La'iba, yal'abu, il'abu means antum, in front of us. Il'abu, play, ba'da darsa, after the lesson. Il'abu ba'da dars. Khudi, see, ya means anti, khudi. Kitabuki, so we should have ya su'ad, take your book, or su'ad. So we're just going to practice a little bit more so we get more comfortable. So just going to fill in the blanks here. Al-Quran, so we have to look at the whose is this being addressed to and bring a proper fa'al. So what do you do with the Quran? And you're addressing to Maryam, so you say Iqra'i. So it is a typo here, so it has to be with ya. Iqra'il Qur'ana ya Maryamu. Ya awladu is kulul khubza. kulul khubza wal washrabul qahwata. So min al fasli ya Musa means ukhruj, means go out from fasl ya Musa, ukhruj min al fasl. So what do you do with faces and hands here? اغسلنا وجوهكن وأيديكن بالصابون. رأسك. So what you do with hairs? You cut إحلق رأسك بالموسى. هذه الأقرب يابي. So what do you do with the scorpion? You kill. So it's اقتل هذه الأقرب يابي. قال خالد لزميله زكريا ما معنى هذه الكلمة? What is the meaning of this word? قال Zakaria said أنا لا أدري, I don't know. So اسأل المدرسة. So you know Hamzatul Wasl, the sound assimilation. اسأل المدرسة, ask the teacher. So what do you do for the lahm with that sharp knife? So you say اقطعي. See, اقطعي ya is fa'il anti. اقطعي اللحم بذاك السكين الحادة. See, with that ذاك means ذلك, that. السكين is badal followed by ismul ishara, and al-hadda is your naat. So hadda means sharp knife. With that sharp knife, ya Khadija. So cut the meat with that sharp knife. So with this knowledge, inshallah, we're going to do an example from the Quran. So see how it is mentioned. So Allah Ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhan nasu ubudu rabbakumul ladzi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Alhamdulillah, we should be able to analyze the whole ayah here. We know ya is your harfun nida, ayyu is your munada, ha is how tanbih for drawing attention. And nasu is your ya ayyu, and nasu is your badal, and u'budu. So what is u'budu? U'budu is your fa'al amr. Allah is commanding. Wow is antum, all of you. So when you read, that means Allah is telling all of us that ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, u'budu. So how do we read? Ya ayyuhan nasu u'budu. So we don't pronounce the sound of Hamzatul Wasal. Ya ayyuhan nasu u'budu. Worship whom? So you say Rabba. Rabba is your maf'ulun bihi, wa huwa mudaf, is your mudaf ilayhi. Rabbakum alladhi. So what is alladhi is your coming as a naat here. This is isma mawsula. So we know after isma mawsula is silatul mawsul. So the one who what? Khalaqa is jumlatul fi'liya coming as a silatul mawsul, and kum is your maf'ulun bihi. He created you. The one who created you. Wa is ataf, alladhina is again, it is a mawtufun ala kum, it is maf'ulun bihi. And the one, so that's alladhina again, it's isma mawsula. So we're looking for silatul mawsul again. So the one before, min qablikum, but one before you. La'allakum, we know la'alla, inna, anna, ka'anna, layta, lakinna, la'alla. So la'alla will have min akhwatu inna, will have ism and khabar. So kum is the ism, la'allakum, hopefully you. Tattaqoon will be from the one who fear. Tattaqoon. So one more ayah here. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu rka'u wasjudu wa'budu rabbakum waf'alul khayra la'allakum tuflihun. You say, oh you who believe, ya ayyuhalladh, oh you the one who is silatul mawsul is your amanu, the one who believes. Amanurka'u. See, so we got two hamzatul wasl and the sukun. So we don't pronounce those sounds. So we say amanurka'u wasjudu wa'budu rabbakum. So you get three commands here. So to bow and do sujood and do ibadah, to worship. Worship whom? Rabbakum, your Lord. Waf'alu, and do. So do what? Then we can ask a question, so it becomes fi'l muta'addi. Al khayra is your maf'ulun bi. Do the good. La'allakum, so that hopefully you. So we need a khabar. La'allakum tuflihun, that you will be successful. So this is how it is used and it is pronounced, inshallah. So those are the fi'l amr we're bringing. So going forward, so we're coming to learn a new concept today, inshallah. So what is that? We're learning about la. We already learned before la as a particle of answer. So whenever it is ahada kitab, so for example, if you say naam or la, that's like a particle of answer. So but today we're going to learn that this la is used with a fa'al. So there are two types of la which are used with the fa'al. So one is called lan nafiya, and the other is called lan nahiya. So both of these la nafiya and la nahiya, they are used with fa'al mudari'. So they are fa'al mudari'. So we're going to understand and know the difference between these two, inshallah. La nafiya is negation, where you negate a sentence. So it is used with jumlatul fa'liya, and where you negate the sentence. So what is la nahiya then? La nahiya is to forbid or to stop from doing an action. So that's the difference between la and nafiya. So where you negate, so no, and la nahiya. So let's give some examples. So la nafiya, so when used with fa'al mudari', so we're saying no, so then this la has no effect on the fa'al mudari' which comes after it. That means the fa'al will remain in its natural form, which is marfu'. So you won't see any change in the fa'al. You're just negating the sentence. For example, if you say afhamud darsa, I understood the lesson. So if you want to say I'm not understanding the lesson, say la afhamud darsa. So la afhamu is fa'al mudari' marfu'un bi damma. So if you see damma, so you know it's marfu', there's no change. That means he is just negating. You're saying I'm not understanding the lesson. So for example, nadhhabu is we are going, nadhhabu ila suq. So if you want to negate, we are not going to suq, we just put la, and what to say? La nadhhabu. So nadhhabu fa'al mudari' marfu'un bi damma ila suq. So for example, tashrabu shaya, you are drinking tea. So if you want to say you're not drinking tea, so you say la tashrabu shaya, you're not drinking the tea. Okay, so what is la nahiya? So la nahiya is also used in fa'al mudari'. So how do we differentiate which la is being used, whether la nahiya or la nafiya? So whenever this la nahiya comes, so we know it has an impact on the fa'al because you're giving kind of a command, so it becomes majzoom. So that's how you know that this la is la nahiya. It's naha means to forbid. So for example, so you say tadhhabu, you are going, la tazhabu, you are not going. But how do you want to say don't go? So you say la tadhhab. So tadhhab fa'alum majzoomun bi sukoon. So for example, so if you say la nahiya, say la taktub, don't write, bil qalamil ahmar. So you're giving kind of a command. So this la will have a force of a fa'al amr because you're giving a command. That's why it turns into majzoom, but it will have alamatu mudari'. So it is fi'l mudari'. So we know ta, a, na and ya are, it is alamatu mudari'. So when you see la with alamatu mudari' and majzoom, so that means you are giving a command, la nahiya, you're telling not. So if you are just making a statement like la taktubu bil qalam al ahmar, you are not writing with red pen. So you're just giving like a statement, you're not writing. But you want to say don't write, so you say la taktub. So la takhruj min al fasla, don't go out of the class. But if you're telling you're not going out, so it has a lot of difference in how we say you're not going out and don't go out. La takhruju min al fasl. So whenever you see a fi'al mudari' bi damma, so we know that la is la'an nafiya and has no effect on the fi'al. But if it is an effect, then it's la'an nahiya. So we say la ta'bud. So here the knowledge which we just learned, that whenever a fi'al majzoom is followed by al, so that is to assimilate the sounds, we bring in the sound of kasra. La ta'budish shaitan. Okay, so we say la ta'budu. La ta'budush shaitan means you are not worshipping shaitan. La ta'budish means that's an amar, that's a command, don't worship shaitan. So there's a lot of difference in how we pronounce the sound and how we understand. So it has a lot of effect. So hopefully when we are reading Quran, so we should be able to use this knowledge to read properly, inshallah. So let's do some more examples so we get more familiar with this concept. So yeah, we're telling Ya Musa, O Musa, anta maridun, you are sick. Fala takhruj. So this fa is just connecting, it's an ataf, so connecting to the previous concept. So I say you are ill, therefore la takhruj, don't go out. See, it's ending with the sukoon. Min al bayt, from house. Wala tadhhab ila al madrasati, and don't go to madrasa. Wala tal'ab fi shari', and don't play in the street. So, la tajlis, don't sit, don't you sit. See, ta is alamat mudari, anta. So even this la nahiya, so it like fi'al amr, so you normally you give it to the anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. So there's a different way to give it in third person, we're going to learn later on, but this is the normal for these 6 situations. La tajlis fi tariq, iftahin nawafida. See, iftahin. So why it is hin? It's actually iftah. Miss anta, you're telling one person the windows. Wala taftah. See, wala taftahil baba, and don't open the door. So when you see a fi'l with kasra, so we know it naturally it cannot have kasra, it is only for pronunciation's sake, and we should understand what form it is in exactly. La tadhak, dahika yadhaku means he laughed, he laughs. La tadhak, don't laugh. Fil fasli, in the class. La ta'kul, don't eat. Fish shari', in the street. And la takdhib, don't lie. La takdhib. La tahliq, don't cut. Halaka yahliqu, tahliqu, and la tahliq is don't cut. Don't cut is lihyatika, your beard. Don't cut your beard. La tas'alni. See, so now we need to understand here. Sa'ala yas'alu, the fa'al can have a maf'ulun bihi. So telling don't ask. Ask whom? Don't ask me. This noon is noon. Vikaya ya mutakallim. So you don't ask me. La tas'alni hada su'ala. So hada as-su'ala is badal. So don't ask me this question. La tadrib, don't you hit. Hit whom? Zamila. Zamila ka is your mudaf ilayhi. Don't hit your colleague. So this is the new concept. So hopefully you understand how we use La Nahiya and how do we use La Nafiya. So inshallah we'll learn more about this in our next class. So until then, keep practicing. We'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.